Wouldn't you like to ride in my beautiful balloon?
19 minutes after the hour, Michael Patrick Shields. We're going to go below the seas of Lake Michigan in just a minute, but first we're going to go into the skies above the state with Troy Hale from Michigan State University, Emmy Award winner, who put together something called the Space Balloon Project. This only a couple of weeks after the guy jumped from, what did he jump from, 120,000 feet up or whatever it was in a balloon as well. Welcome back to the AT&T studio.
Thanks for having me.
What was the Space Balloon? Where did you launch it from? What happened?
We launched it from the National Weather Service near Detroit, and it was just a fun project with MSU to put a weather balloon, to put a bunch of HD cameras in space.
And did it work? I mean, how do you do that?
Yeah, it kind of worked. You were talking about being under the lake, and that's where our balloon ended up.
Oh, did it?
Yeah.
Well, we'll have to have a rescue crew go and get it.
We tried.
So what do you fill it with? This is a dumb question, but it's meant to go very, very high.
Yes. Yeah. Weather balloons. The Weather Service launches 2 weather balloons a day in Detroit, and around the world they launch 1,800 a day to measure the atmosphere, and that's how we get our weather on television and things like that.
What happens to them typically? They just sort of go too high and then lose their lift and fall back down?
Yeah, we fill them up. The weather balloon's about 8 feet when we fill it up, and when it rises, it starts to expand. So there's a burst diameter that it gets to, and then it
explodes.
Bursts. Yeah.
And then it falls on. Doesn't it land on people?
No, we put a parachute on top of it, so it comes down about 10 miles an hour. So.
Huh. I've never been hit by a weather balloon. I wonder what the odds are, because it's got to land somewhere, right?
Yeah.
So you put cameras on knowing that these cameras might never come back.
Yes. Yeah, and the same thing, the Weather Service does the same thing. Some of their balloons are never found either. But, we went there, and they showed us where their weather balloon went at 7 a.m., and we launched at noon, and we tried to put a little bit more gas in, so the balloon burst a little bit earlier, and it would land on land, but we ended up going about 2 miles into Lake Erie.
Oh, okay. And were you watching the cameras as the balloon was going up on a monitor?
No, we actually have to go and get the cameras.
You do?
Yeah. So we ended up losing this balloon, but this was the first test balloon that we're doing in a multi-launch project, and it was to learn how to do it, to make sure it flew well, to make sure we could track the GPS. So I keep saying we have about 5 things that we did well, and we failed on recovery of it.
Well, there was no man on board, so I mean,
yeah,
that's okay. No monkey, not even, or anything like that. So, but you haven't seen the footage until you get the cameras.
Right. And there is one camera on board that has a waterproof housing, so somewhere on the bottom of Lake Erie, there's a camera with a lot of really great footage.
You're not really going to go get it, are you?
No, I don't think so. We tried really hard. When we saw the track and we saw that it had landed. It landed in the lake. It bobbled there for about 30 minutes, and then we lost the GPS signal. So we had the GPS fixed. We called a bunch of places, some local fishing companies, and said, "Hey, we have the GPS. If you guys are out in the area, can you take a look for us?
Can you save our balloon?"
Yeah, exactly.
No luck.
Yeah, nobody found it. It's a really small balloon.
But you can't transmit the signal.
Well, you can. I mean, it depends on how much money you want to put into the balloon.
How much money you want to put in the lake.
Yeah, exactly.
So you're going to try it again?
Sure. Yeah. We're planning to launch maybe 5 or 6 of these. We've teamed up with a local children's museum, and we're hoping to, there's 5 cameras in there. We want to project it 360 degrees, and children can go in there and kind of ride a balloon into space.
92 miles it went at 80,000 feet, you think?
Yeah, we're estimating, between 60 and 80,000 feet.
How long did it take to go 92 miles? Not very long, I bet.
It was hour 15.
Clipping
something
along.
like that. Yeah, it was going pretty quick.
Well, okay. Well, then the next launch will be when? In the spring, maybe?
Yeah, I'm hoping February or so. We've had a couple companies that have contacted us and said, we like your project. We want to use some of the footage for a commercial or something like that. So we've got some interest, and people are coming on board to sponsor the next one. I need to be able to rebuild it, so we need to get some sponsorship dollars in.
And what if it landed in Canadian hands? What would you have done? They would have had all the secret data.
It did fly into Canada.
It went over Canada.
Yeah,
into the water.
Michael, this reminds me of the Pat Daly song. It landed on the bottom of the Erie.
Yeah, that's where it is. Fishing's better on the bottom of the Erie.
Yep.
This Canton Township man is revealing how he and his crew located a wooden steamer that sank on Lake Huron, north of there, during a storm in 1910. David Trotter, who's been on the program with us, spent 2 years with sonar looking for the New York is the name of the ship, and he finally located it in 240 feet of water, 40 miles off the tip of Michigan's thumb. Trotter says the ship was carrying coal to Ontario, and the 14 people on board were saved by a passing ship.
It was a horrific gale. They were exposed and little protection. And it had been a matter of time before they swamped the lifeboat and cost everybody their lives.
The Trotter found the 133-year-old New York upright, covered in zebra mussels, both boilers, dishes still inside. And he says the steamer was very impressive for the early 1900s.
She was a giant for her time, kind of a leviathan of the lakes.
Trotter says the relics are going to remain there just as they were when the ship sank on Lake Huron.
The artifacts, we leave those down there. That's for Marines. Marine history, we feel that it's best left there for the enjoyment of others.
So exploration this morning under the sea and into the sky. Thank you very much for being here with us.
No problem.
Emmy Award winner Troy Hale from Michigan State University, always doing something interesting with his students over there. By the way, since you're in show business and movies and television, Forbes has put out the list of the most overpaid celebrities.
Okay.
In other words, what they're paid based on what the movies they make return. And I'll give you the top. We'll give you the top 5. Jack Black. For every dollar he's paid, he returns $5.20.
Okay.
That's not bad, I wouldn't think. But you go down, Sandra Bullock, $5 for every dollar. Reese Witherspoon, $3.90 for every dollar. Katherine Heigl, $3.40 for every dollar. And the number one most overpaid celebrity is Eddie Murphy.
That's interesting.
For what it's worth. That sounds like a good return. You know, if Jeff and Suzanne Heward got that kind of return on what they pay me, I think they'd be happy. I don't think they'd consider us overpaid. Adam Sandler's on that list, too, by the way. These are big names that you think are really famous, but in Hollywood standards, not so. Anyway, they're going to make a Ghostbusters 3, too.
Great.
Bill Murray has made the announcement. He was the last holdout, and they didn't want to make the movie without him.
Don't mess it up.
No, they're going to do it. They're going to get the whole gang back together. Ivan Reitman will be there, Dan Aykroyd, Harold Ramis, all of them. And they're going to start shooting early next year. Ghostbusters fans, take heart. And Ashley Judd is going to run for United States Senate. She's going up against Senate Minority. Yeah.
Oh,
she's
man.
going up against Mitch McConnell.
There
and
we
they say
go.
she's got a chance to beat him. I didn't know she's Harvard. She's a Harvard grad. 26 after the hour.